Okay, so Harry, this is Lord Potato, and this is also with Anime Sensei here.
Yes, sir.
And this is, well, what if Boruto was the reincarnation of Neji Hyuga? So,
Yeah.
of course, how, like, in the original canon, how Neji still died by a stick? And, what's it called? Of course, let's go into Boruto. So, Boruto, he's still born the same, still with blonde hair. His eyes are blue. They will still be the same and all that. But of course, when what's it called? We go into into the start of the anime, where Baruto's right now kind of helping what's it called Denki from some bullies and all that. That'll still happen, but Baruto is considered a little bit more of a prodigy in this kind of what if. The reason why he's a little bit considered more of a prodigy is because, well, he doesn't even show it that much, but he is kind of smart. He isn't as annoying as original canon to kind of annoy his father about what to call things and kind of be spoiled a little bit. But yeah. But of course, Barto and Denki still met up. Of course, is where the train and Denki still being possessed will still happen, and Barto still kind of having the Jogan will still happen. And Barto still smashing the train into the stone faces will still happen. So yeah. Or was it stone faces? Yeah. But of course, with that happening, we go into, well, Barto being scolded by what they call Shino about, well, not doing that. But with that happening, Naruto really, well, not Naruto, Barto really doesn't care that much. But yeah. But of course, this is where Barto, Sumare, Iwa, yeah,
Iwabe.
Iwa. Dang, I keep forgetting about his like full name. Like, isn't it Iwa or something? I'm like Iwabe. Yes. Uh, Metal Lee. I was about to say Rock Lee. Metal Lee and even Denki again kind of went to fix the stone wall because, well, not the stone wall, the stone head because of how Baruto kind of just destroyed it. And wait, wait, was it? It was no wait. It wasn't Iwabe. It was what's it called Shikadai and Inuichi or Ini.
Yeah, Inochi. No, Inojin.
Yeah,
Inojin.
Inujin. I keep thinking of Inuichi from what's it called Ino's father.
Yeah, that's what I used to. I thought that was his name before I first knew what his name was.
Inujin. I thought it was like Inuichi. I was like, huh, whatever.
Cause I remember in 2017, 2016, it was like a leak on Ino's kid, and the name was supposed to be what Inochi, like to honor her father.
Yeah. What about Sai? Sai doesn't got no love. Basically,
Facts.
they could have named what's it called Inuji Sai Junior Yamanako. It would have been so much easier.
Facts. He looks just like Sai.
I mean, he kind of does. It's just blonde hair, but yeah. But we go into, well, what's it called? They are still kind of building the what's it called stone faces until, well, Metal Leaf kind of breaks it a little too much, and yeah. Of course, Shikadai and well, Shikadai did kind of criticize what's it called Metal Lee about why he kind of broke in his society and all that. But yeah. Okay, so after, well, Metal Lee kind of getting angry, he does get possessed by the well, basically shadow that Summary kind of uses to drain people's chakra. Even though that kind of doesn't make sense. Why is Metal Lee why is Summary going after Metal Lee for chakra when Metal Lee doesn't have chakra?
That's a good question.
Metal Lee, I mean, everyone does have chakra, but Metal Lee has like this tiny bit. Someone.
Yeah, that's true.
But whatever. So of course Metal Lee still kind of fight against with Caldwell, Shikadai, uh, Inujin, and also Boruto. But Boruto, he managed to dodge a strike from Metal Lee, and of course Shikadai and Inuji were right now in the bushes and seeing kind of Boruto kind of fight against Metal Lee. While Boruto's kind of doing the distraction, Inuchi kind of also uses his bird, his super scroll beast, what's called jutsu, to send birds, what's called Metal Lee. And of course, Shikadai was about to use Shadow Possession until, something happened with Boruto. Boruto just needed to knock out, Metal Lee. So, of course, this is where Boruto says, Byakugan. Of course, this is where Shikadai and Inuchi never known that, Boruto had the Byakugan. This is where Boruto activated his Byakugan. Now, Boruto's Byakugan is actually, kind of still palish white, how Neji's eyes are. But they're kind of more of a whiter color. But yeah. This is where Boruto, he hits what's called Metal Lee in 2 points, 4 points, 6 points, not 6 points, 8 points, and then 16 points. Kind of knocking him out of his kind of daze with the dark chakra. Of course, when Boruto just activated one of his, not one of his eyes, both of his eyes, the Jogan appears and still show his what's called the dark chakra. Of course, Boruto still doesn't know what this is, but yeah. So Boruto does have the Byakugan. He has kind of trained. So let's go into somewhat of when Boruto somewhat activated. So we go into somewhat unknown year. Boruto was kind of saddened when the fact that his father still didn't actually show that much care about him. And the fact that, Henwari was someone that was able to activate the Byakugan, without him even activating it. Of course, it's where Boruto, he was kind of mad, but yeah. It's where Boruto, he was kind of trying to train and trying to activate the Byakugan because, his family is kind of leaning into Hinawari kind of being somewhat of the next heiress for what's called, the Hyuga somewhat, even though they really don't care about the clan things that much. I say that much, but they still kind of care. Of course, this is where Boruto is training and trying to unlock the Byakugan. Of course, he passed out from exhaustion because, he can't really contain the chakra in his hands like the Byakugan, because the Byakugans allow him to kind of know about his chakra and all that. And since Boruto does not have the Byakugan, it was kind of hard for him to focus without wasting too much chakra. Of course, where Boruto passes out and Boruto wakes up in his mindscape, meeting someone with kind of brownish hair, pale white eyes, and of course, white clothing and kind of brown pants a little bit. This is where, this is Neji. This is where Neji says, yo, or not yo, hello there, nephew. This is where Boruto says, what? Who are you? This is where Boruto yeah, who are you? This is where Neji says, oh, my name is Neji Hyuga. I would have been your uncle if I didn't die to a stick. God damn it. But not the point. Of course, I am here as somewhat your you are somewhat my reincarnation. But yeah. Now, of course, I can see why you can't really activate the Byakugan. You're not channeling enough chakra into your eyes. This is where Boruto says, what do you mean? This is where Neji says, you need to channel enough chakra into your eyes to kind of, activate it. To activate your Byakugan. This is where, Boruto says, huh? Neji says, you need more chakra to put into your eyes. The reason why is because your Byakugan is actually kind of more special than, the normal Hyuga. The only reason why is gonna be because it seems that something is blocking it. Something more different. something with your right eye kinda is blocking your Byakugan ability. But with all that, just add more chakra. So of course Boruto nodded. That's where Boruto says, okay. So of course where Boruto he says, so where am I exactly? Neji says, you're in your mindscape. I brought you here and managed to get you in here because yeah, I need to talk to you. So even though you are me and I'm you, whatever, I'm somewhat was a prodigy of the Hyuga. Now, I'm gonna be somewhat training you, but you also gotta learn by yourself to actually kind of be a prodigy. Now, don't show this to your family because they were kind of screaming confused, and definitely your father would be more confused. Got it? This is where Boruto nodded. This is where Boruto says, would I ever meet you again? This is where, well, Neji says, of course, I'm always in your mindscape. Besides, I'm a reincarnation. Where am I gonna go? This is where Boruto chuckles and says, fine. This is where Boruto just goes out of the mindscape and activates his eyes. He has enough chakra, like lots of more, and of course his eyes goes into a lavender color, then becomes white, and then has what's called the veins popping out. Of course, Boruto's eyes are more pale white. Now, of course, Boruto then sees all the chakra, and actually started from there on out. He started training in secrecy, never showing his Byakugan. But he always knew he had the Byakugan because, he's the reincarnation of his uncle, Neji Hyuga. And, he has also heard of stories about his uncle and, the techniques he kind of learned and all that. But, yeah. But, of course, this is where Boruto also created his own techniques, even though he's, his reincarnation of his uncle. So, yeah. I'll mention those techniques later. But we go back into present time. So Boruto, after knocking out, Metal Lee, he disactivated his Byakugan. So yeah. Now, we go into after that. This is where Shik died. And, Inujin, we're kind of asking Boruto and what the fuck that was in his eyes. This is where Boruto says, what are you guys talking about? There was nothing in my eyes. It might have been some dirt in my eyes, yeah, or it might have been the paint from Inuichi's kind of beast growth. That's where Shikadai says, Inujin says, if it was, then wouldn't it kind of still have paint in your eyes? Boruto says, I went to the bathroom to wash it off. Inujin says, touche. Well, I'm gonna go get more, burgers. This is where, because they were at the bootleg McDonald's version, but you know what? Not the point. This is where, Boruto was saying, so, did you see anything different from Metal Lee or to Shikadai? Shikadai was, still kind of looking at Boruto, still kind of unsure what that was, because that kind of looks like the Byakugan, but more palish white. And Boruto did kind of say Byakugan, but kind of quiet. Now, this is where Shikadai says, don't change the subject, Boruto. This is where Boruto says, I'm not changing the subject. You see here, I have this kind of weird thing that I was able to see what they call this shadow thing. So, of course, he tries to draw it still for what they call Shikadai. And Shikadai goes and looks at him, looks at drawing, and it's just garbage. Because, yes, Boruto just sucks at drawing. This is where, Shikadai just says, never mind. This is where after they get out of, the bootleg version of McDonald's, out of the store, because, Shikadai is still suspicious about Boruto's eyes. But Boruto is not going to show anyone about his eyes, not even his friends, family, or anyone. So yeah, he's still very secretive. So of course, as well, also he's not overconfident like what's called Neji was in original canon. Well, when Neji was kind of 13, when he was like all destiny and fate was all this. Yeah, he's not that. Okay, Boruto's not like that. But of course, as well, Boruto is a prodigy and he is smart. So of course he's not going to be like, destiny is the only thing, blah, 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 and all that. But yeah. Because, there's not really any Naruto in this version to kind of uppercut Boruto, if you think about it. But hey, Now, of course, we go into Boruto, Shikadai, and Inuichi kind of walking with each other and all. Of course, there were Sumire, Chocho, and even Sadara were kind of started by a anime sensei. Do you remember that one guy with kind of wait, which one?
Oh,
Oh, the one guy that kind of can go invisible.
what was his name?
I never remember. I really never remember his name, so I always just call him guy that can't really just talk right.
Yeah, I forgot his name.
So I'm gonna call him creepy guy or brown hair guy, but yeah. So of course,
I know his name. I know his name. I know his name. His name is. Dang it! Hold up. I know it. Hold up.
Fred. But yeah, I'm gonna just call him brown hair guy for a while, but yeah. Of course, after Barto and the others kind of being seeing this guy kind of start on his words because he can't really talk and all that because he's struggling, and of course, is where Chocho is kind of making more difficult for this guy to talk. This is where the guy says no. Wait, what?
Magger is his name. Magger, I think. Yeah, that's what I think it was.
Magator? God.
Yeah.
Mag.
I can't remember.
Guy. Okay, this dude's name is so weird, so I'm just gonna keep calling him.
God, I do not know.
Yeah, I forgot about this guy so many times. I just remember him because he's just creepy.
I know he was stalking thing. What was his name? Now I'm forgetting everyone's name.
Because he stalked Sumire.
Yes.
Sumire. Whatever. But yeah, he still kind of shows his feelings to Sumire, and of course Sumire is just like, no thanks. This is where the guy kind of gets stabbed into his heart. It's still just like, this is where Barto, he's not really caring that much about like, going overexcited about love or anything like that. Because how in original canon, he was like on Shikadai saying, yo, 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 he's about to show his heart or something like that. And Boruto, he's not showing that much emotion that much. Not because he's like emotionless, it's just he doesn't really care that much. It seems pointless to see this. Of course, everyone walks away. The guy still gets possessed. He still kind of stalks Sumire, turning invisible and all that. This is where, Boruto actually, goes with and still original canon with Shikadai and all the others. And of course, where Shikadai and Boruto are looking around for that guy because they were still going original canon. Because, the guy who was still talk to Sumire and all that. But yeah, tried to. Or tried to force her much. But that's where Boruto, he can see that the guy kind of went invisible because of the jutsu. This is where Boruto, he put his hands into his eyes. And this is where Boruto said, Byakugan. This is where, no one can see his eyes. Of course, the guy says, you're using your blind spots. Well, now that you can't see, it'd be easier to kill you. This is where Boruto, he has his eyes open, but no one else can see his eyes. Because he has the Byakugan. He has a 360 view. Now, of course, even though that's the normal Byakugan, Boruto's different. Since his eyes are more palish and more white. This is where, Boruto's eyes actually has 120, view. Wait, no, not 120, 420. So yeah. Wait, no, 360. Wait. No, I mean 720. I don't know why I keep saying 4. But yeah, he has 720. He can see everything, even the blind spot of the Hyuga. This is where, well, the person rushes at Bart trying to stab him, and of course, this is where Bart, he turns off his eyes, already knowing where this person is at, and this is where Bart just says, air palm strike. This is where, well, he puts, like, well, what they call chakra into his, like, hand and all that, and strikes, what they call the person. And of course, this is where the person goes, knocked out, and of course, he passes out. This is where, well, everyone is shocked to even notice that Boruto did this, and this is where Shikadai is more interested in how Boruto even knew where he was. This is where he can't even if Boruto could, like, hear where he was, he still couldn't really tell where it was. But with that happening, this is where, well, Boruto just says, I knocked him out, yeah! Kind of still showing a little bit of emotions, but yeah. This is where, well, Boruto did turn off with Byakugan, I didn't mention that, but yeah. Of course, this is where, well, everyone's walking. This is where, well, the guy is still drained with chakra, but yeah. So the next day will still happen, and of course, it is, well, what will be the next thing? It will be Misky, right?
Yeah. Wait, hold up. Yeah. Mitsuki is next.
So yeah, Misky kind of shows up. Well, Boruto and Shikadai kind of goes after the same dude that. Actually, I just realized I skipped a part. It was I think I skipped what's it called Awabi. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I just realized
he was next.
I realized I skipped him. So, of course, where, well, Boruto still meets him and all that, but of course, when Boruto fights against him and how he has a weapon, Iwabi? I keep fucking up his name, but yeah. This is where, well, Boruto's still fighting him, and of course, this is where Boruto, he does, like, hide behind a pillar, knowing that, well, somewhere around here is, well, Iwabi, but Iwabi is, like, hiding, trying to be sneaky and all that. Boruto does activate his Byakugan, knowing where he's at. This is where Boruto, he dodges an attack from Iwabi because Iwabi kind of lets go of the, well, camouflage. And this is where Boruto hits him with an, well, air palm, with just a normal palm hand in the stomach. This is where knocking him out. So yeah, instead of Iwabi kind of using his weapon against Boruto, that didn't happen. So yeah, Iwabi does respect what they call Boruto's strength. So yeah. So of course we go back into meeting Misky. Now of course when Misky still knocks out that one guy that can use or not use, the guy that went into the alleyway, but yeah. This is where, well, Misky says, hello there. You must be Boruto Uzumaki. This is where Boruto's creeped out, and same with Shikadai. But we go into the classroom of how, well, Misky is met by everyone. Of course, Misky sits next to Boruto and Shikadai, but yeah. This is where, well, we go into, well, actually, things. So, I kind of fucked up on a lot of things, but Boruto has already met Misky. It's just, well, I haven't watched Boruto in a while, so we kind of fucked that up. Or mostly I did. But, of course, Misky and, Misky's already, well, met Boruto and all that. And, of course, they will still do the same thing, like, in original canon, kind of being outside and all that. But, yeah. But, of course, this is where Boruto and Misky are kind of outside because, well, the, what's it called, classroom was still destroyed, but Boruto's still summoning that one creature, but yeah. Of course, this is where Boruto, after doing that, he was, well, what's it called, they were outside celebrating for Misky and all that, because she still thought of that. But of course, this is where Boruto is with what's it called, Misky and the others, and of course this guy's still kind of angry and throwing what's called stuff because yeah, he was possessed. And of course the word Misky and Boruto and the others still attacked him and all that. But yeah, Boruto said what's it called, he still hit to the call the guy with a gentle fist style 16 palms to just knock him out. But yeah, But of course, well, Boruto was interested in summoning still. So before, when he learned how to summon Null or something, and how what's called Konohama was the one to save them, Boruto went towards, well, he still wanted to learn how to summon creatures. So of course he asked his mother about it and all that. But of course, his mother said that we don't really have summoning creatures for it yet. So of course, Boruto still kind of fights against Shino and still defeats him. But yeah. Also, what's it called? Anime Sensei.
Yeah.
The creepy. Okay, so the creepy guy was actually not before, after Shino's fight, and we kind of just skipped that one. So we skipped Shino's fight, really.
Okay, we messed up a lot. I ain't gonna lie.
I haven't watched Bars from the beginning, so yeah.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
So yeah, so let's start where Barto kind of meets Tomori, or the guy with the tentagon. I don't remember his name. Not Tomori, Tomori or something. But of course, with anyway, let me go back. So of course, Barto still meets Tomori, or whatever his name is exactly. The guy with the tentagon. Barto, when he wakes up, he does see the Jogan, and is very interested in the Jogan. Of course, he has seen it multiple times manifested in him, but he doesn't know, and Neji doesn't even know what it is neither. He thinks it's just another evolution of Barto's Byakugan, because Barto's eyes are more palish white than the normal Byakugan. They're like, well, they are actually similar to that of an Utsutsuki. Since, well, the human version are, well, this lavender kind of color. But Barto's eyes are more like an Utsutsuki color. So that's what Neji's thinking, and even Boruto. So Boruto still kind of asks to kind of go to see his clan, like see what's called Hiyashi and Hinabi and all the others in the Hyuga. But yeah, Naruto does still take what's called Boruto and Hawari and all that. But of course, when Boruto is actually being tested by Hinabi about the Byakugan to see if Boruto has actually unlocked or anything, Boruto knows that this is probably going to be bad. If he activates his Byakugan, they actually find out that Boruto has been secretly keeping it hidden. But if Boruto doesn't show it, his pride is going to get hurt. That's why Boruto, he then decides to act like a moron. So of course he does use Shadow Clones and kind of fights against Hinabi, to show that he still doesn't activate the Byakugan. But with that happening, and he's hurt and all that, he then asks about the somewhat Jogan kind of color of the Byakugan. As it were, well, Hiyashi says that that's not the Byakugan. Naruto is confused what Boruto's trying to tell Hiyashi, but that's not the Byakugan that Hiyashi kind of told Boruto. But yeah, of course, this is where Boruto nodded. This is where Boruto also asked if the Byakugan is pale white instead of, well, being, well, lavender color. As it were, well, Hiyashi says no, that's not impossible exactly. The Byakugan is always a lavender color, never pale white. That's where Boruto nodded also. That's where Boruto, he decides to go around the clan head, just around the place and all that. And this is where Boruto, he kind of goes towards a room, a kind of storage room in the Hyuga compound. But this is where, well, Hiyashi's talking to Naruto and the others, and yeah, and Hinabi's talking to Hinawari, kind of just playing with her. But yeah, this is where Boruto, he's in the storage room, and of course, he's kind of just looking around, kind of reading some books about the Byakugan, because yeah, he has done this before. This is where Boruto, he goes around, and of course, after kind of getting some scrolls and reading them, and just having to see the, what it says in the, in the story, well, not storyline, in the, well, sentence. That's where Boruto, he then decides to activate the Byakugan. Maybe there's hidden messages here. That's where when Boruto's looking around, he sees something from his corner of his eye with the Byakugan. Something like a box. A secret hidden compartment. This is where Boruto goes to get the, move some scrolls, because yes, he was in this place. Move some scrolls, sees this kind of container, and sees that there's seals in it, and of course that's where Boruto bites on his finger to spill out some blood, and that's where Boruto then just puts blood on it, and this is where the container opens. Yes, this seal was actually a blood seal. Boruto noticed it was actually a blood seal after turning his eye. Even though he doesn't know much about sealing, Neji knew a little about sealing, just a little bit. This is where Neji did tell him about it. This is where, well, when Boruto kind of uses his own blood, the container actually opens. It cracks and opens. This is where Boruto, what he sees in the container is a necklace that's actually made with kind of the chain being silver color, but the middle of the necklace is kind of like a yin-yang style. This is where Boruto grabs the necklace, but then sees a scroll. This is where Boruto grabs the scroll, because the scroll is actually like a bigger, it seems like a kind of a big scroll and all that. And when Boruto took it out, Boruto then opened it, and of course, when he opens it, he sees two people in the, in this scroll. Two people's name. The first name is, well, kind of crossed out a little bit. Wait, what? So,
you're lagging.
Oh. Testing. Is it there or better? Okay. So, in the name containing, it has two names. One that was actually crossed out, but it says Hyuga at the end, and the next one is called Hyuga. That's why Boruto's confused in these names. Hyuga sound similar to his mother's name Hinata Hyuga or Hinabi for his auntie, but he doesn't know. That's why Boruto, he sees an more space in it. This is where Boruto decides to bite his finger because Neji says it's actually a summoning scroll. This is where Boruto bites his finger, bring out more blood, and this is where, well, Boruto then just puts the seal contract and also, well, make his name in blood and all that, saying Boruto Uzumaki Hyuga. And well, not Uzumaki, he then changed it to Hyuga because mostly it should be respectful. This is where Boruto then decides to, well, kind of take the scroll with him. Now, of course, he takes the scroll, but when he kind of puts it near the, what's called, yin-yang thing, for some reason it sucks it in. This is where Boruto... Wait, what? So, with Boruto kind of holding up the scroll to what's it called, the necklace, it actually sucks in the scroll into his necklace and was confused about it. But this is where Boruto can't actually think about it because, well, he hears kind of people going towards him. And he does activate his Byakugan because to see who was actually coming. He noticed it was Hiyashi. That's where Boruto, he sees the container. He then shuts it because it was kind of like a metal container, so it kind of looked like a seal and all that. Well, not a seal. It kind of like a containment, like a storage containment or whatever. That's where Boruto shuts it, puts scrolls around it, and kind of looks and turns up the Byakugan and kind of just looks like he's just reading. Now, of course, he has the necklace kind of hidden and all that in his kind of jacket and all that. And this is where Hiyashi says, "Hey, Boruto, we're kind of eating. Do you want to come?" This is where Boruto says, yeah, grandfather, yeah. This is where, well, Boruto, when he goes to eat, and of course, how Hinabi's kind of annoying him. Also, Anime Sensei. Yo, can I say one thing? Hinabi's kind of strange towards Boruto.
Facts. Like, I know I'm not the only one who noticed that.
Why is Hinabi trying to get close to her like niece, like not niece, nephew? Real close.
A little too weird.
Like she's trying to bring back the old what's it called, tradition.
The old Alabama.
she's trying to get with her what's it called nephew. Like, hold up, ain't that your sister's kind of son? Like, hold up this.
Ah,
But yeah, of course, this is where Barto kind of is getting uncomfortable about uncomfortable with Hinabi, kind of like treating him kind of strangely. And even Neji in his head is going, "What the fuck, Hinabi?" And this is where Barto is like, "No thanks. I'm not gonna call you big sis, but okay." But this is where Barto, he just goes outside to kind of look at the moon, and of course he's not thinking about his Byakugan when he ever gonna unlock it. No, he doesn't care about that right now. The thing he's caring about more is the fact that, well, his not his eyes. He's thinking about his eyes, yes, not the eyes of the Byakugan, even though it's more pale white than the normal lavender. But he's thinking about the Jogan because when he met the guy that you meet when Tentagon, but I can't remember his name. But of course that guy. But he also kind of look at the name Hana Hyuga, and he also read kind of scroll, summoning scroll for panda. This is what Baruto doesn't actually know about the pandas. No one knows about the summoning scroll for pandas because that's actually how should I say a legendary summoning, or not legendary, it's mythical. The reason why I will explain why, but after that, this is where Baruto he gets out of like the Hyuga compound and goes to the forest. This is where Baruto he goes to hand sign for summoning, and this is where Baruto did by his finger when he was doing it. This is where Baruto says summoning style. He pops out a giant panda. Well, not a giant panda, a medium panda. This panda looks at Baruto. Now this panda has a straw hat on his head, a kind of like straw stick in his mouth. His eyes are brown. He is, of course, a panda. He got pants. He also got somewhat of a coat, like a sort of grayish coat a little bit. He got a sword. Well, not even a sword. He got a bamboo, like what's it called, staff and all that. And of course, is where the panda looks at what's it called, Baruto. Kind of interesting in how the fuck he was here anyway, because the only person that was able to summon him is this old summoner, but she died a long time ago. This is where Baruto says, panda? This is where the panda looks at him and says, "Did you summon me?" This is where Baruto says, "Yeah, I kind of signed the panda contract. It's in this necklace. I don't know how to get it out." This is where the panda says, "Interesting. You're able to summon us. That's kind of quite impossible for someone who isn't from the Hyuga clan, especially from her lineage." This is where, Baruto says, "Who?" "Hana Hyuga." This is where Baruto says, my mother is Hinata Hyuga. My father's Naruto Uzumaki, but I don't know who Hana Hyuga is." This is where, the panda says, "Hinata Hyuga, Hinata." Wait, Hana did mention something about her daughter being named Hinata. If that's the case, then that means that you are the grandson of Hana. That's where Baruto says, "Wait, Hana is my grandmother?" That's where, the panda says, "Yes. And it seems that you have the the legacy of Hana Hyuga. So, of course, you're able to, summon us to meet the blood of hers." That's where Baruto says, "What's your name, Panda, if it isn't just Panda?" This is where the panda says, "My name is Po, the panda." Now, Anime Sensei.
yeah.
Do you remember Kung Fu Panda?
Oh yeah, I think they made a third one a few years ago.
Yeah. Do you remember how the panda's name was Po?
Yes, sir.
Well, this panda is gonna be named Po also.
Oh, that's right.
So yeah. So of course Poe says, "My name is Poe, the panda." This is where Bart says, "Poe." Okay. This is where Poe says, "What is your name, kid?" This is where Bart says, "My name is Bart Hyuga." This is where Poe says, "Interesting." Very interesting. You're able to summon us. And you do realize that necklace is somewhat like a container for, well, not container, a containment for anything that you want to put in there. This is where Bart says, "How would I get it out?" This is where, well, Poe was interesting. I see. So Hana couldn't give it to what's called her treasures towards the Kohenate because of the Hyugas. But you managing to get them means that either the clan change or there's no more of a clan. This is where Baruto says, "What are you talking about?" This is where, well, Poe just says, "I'll explain later." But do you know anything about the, well, us mostly? Baruto says, "Huh? You? The pandas?" The panda nodded. That's where Baruto says, "No. Aren't you just a summoning contract?" That's where Poe just laughs a little bit and says, "Huh? No. We are summoning contracts, yes, but we only are specific to a certain person. Well, mostly certain people. That we contain worthy and their legacy worthy. So, you are, well, the legacy of Hana Hyuga, but also her father, that, well, we won't mention because he wanted to have respect and not kind of showing who he is. When you get stronger, we will tell you his name, but not now. So, kid, we are the panda contract, yes, but we are not normal of like a common contract, just like the toads or like the snakes or like the slugs. We're not common. We are actually mythical style because we have a special type of, well, chakra nature. Now you will also get this chakra nature if you train enough with us. This is where Baruto says, "What is that?" Yin Yang. Baruto says, Yin Yang? Yin nature release and Yang nature release. You will have it together. Of course, this ability will be stronger than normal fire, water, or anything, because Yin will allow you to kind of create. Yang will allow you to destroy things. Wait, that's how it works. Yeah. So of course it worked well. Baruto was like, okay. It's worked well. The panda then says, "Why is your eyes blue? I thought there would be lavender to activate the Byakugan." Baruto says, "I do have the Byakugan, just my eyes are blue. Because I am kind of mixed Namikaze, Uzumaki, and Hyuga." The panda says, "Huh, interesting. So that means Hinata married someone who is not part of the clan. Very interesting. Very interesting. So, can you unlock the Byakugan? Or activate the Byakugan?" Baruto tells her, he says, "Byakugan." This is where, well, his eyes are palish white. This is where, well, the panda says, "Palish white Byakugan. Interesting. Very interesting. That shouldn't be impossible." Every other Hyuga had, well, lavender color eyes. And Hana had lavender color eyes. The only person I can think of that had somewhat of palish or close to being pale white is, well, him. Hana's, well, father. But with that happening, I will mention that later. This is where, well, Baruto nodded. This is where, well, Baruto then says, "Okay, but, kid, I want you to kind of, well, do a test for me." Baruto says, "A test? What kind of test?" "A test to see if you're worthy of us. Now, I am not the leader of the pandas. I am not, well, I am only like second ranking to be somewhat the leader. You are supposed to be fighting the boss of the pandas. And, well, I will be summoning him. And shortly. That's what Boruto says, to do what? Well, to see if you're worthy to fight him. That's where Boruto says, okay. That's where, well, Poe goes through hand signs because he got hands. And of course summons out the true leader of the pandas. Now this is where it's a giant panda that kind of has, well, how should I say, kind of fingerless gloves, and it's blue and all. And of course he was just ready to be punching a what kind of sandbag until he just realized that where he was. Now this panda is twice as big as Poe. Well, it's actually bigger than what's it called? Well, not bigger. He is the same, not same size, bigger than Poe. That's where, well, Bart says, am I seriously gonna go fight against that? That's where Poe says, oh, this is the leader of the, what's it called? The leader. That's where Bart says, what is his name? You should ask him yourself. Bart says, hey, panda leader boss, what is your name? That's where, well, the panda says, you must be worthy enough to know my name. But why did you summon me here, Poe? Poe says, this is the grandson of, well, Hyuga. And even the great-grandson of you-know-who. This is why, well, the giant panda kind of widened his eyes. And of course he then says, then, I will now test you, kid. This is our Bart, so he has to be eyes still activated. And this is where, well, he activates his eyes just to get ready. This is where Poe says, good luck in fighting him. This is where Barto dodges an attack, like a swing attack from, well, the panda. And of course, this is where Barto jumps on his, like, hand, start rushing towards the panda. And of course, this is where, well, the panda shoots something from his mouth. A white and black energy blast. This is where Barto, he then said, rotation. This is where, well, his rotation's different. His rotation's way powerful and much stronger than the normal rotation. This is where, well, when the blast hit him, he kind of managed to rotate the blast to shoot up. This is where, well, Barto then just air palm strike. Yeah, he says twin air palm strike into the panda's head. Now this is where the panda says, you're pretty strong. This is where Barto says 256 palm strike. As our Barto then says, 16 trigram, 256 palm strike. As our Barto sent so many palm strikes at the panda, and of course the panda just said, even interesting, an advanced one, an advance from the 8 trigram, 164 palm strike. So strong. This is where Barto then decides to, well, what's it called, punch the panda in the head. Trying to. This is where the panda kind of chuckles, seeing that how Barto's so much advanced more, and seeing that he is similar towards that man. This is where, well, Barto says, I'm kind of at a most chakra. This is where the panda says, interesting, clap, clap, clap. You are strong. You're clearly stronger than, well, any other person. And I am happy to say that you are, well, you pass with flying colors, showing your strongest technique to try to take me out, but also being strategized into using your rotation to knock out the blast instead of dodging it, realizing you couldn't dodge. You're pretty skilled, kid. But yes, you will now be able to summon us easier. Now, I will want to give you a weapon. A special weapon for you. Huh? What do you mean special weapon? Here you go. This is where Barto gets a bow staff. Now the bow staff is white from the top and black from the bottom. Barto kind of swings it around. And this is where, well, the panda says, well, that is for you. Now, if you don't want it on you, that's where the panda decides to grab Barto's arm. And a seal appears in his arm. Now this seal is, well, kind of black and white. Well, yeah, black and white. And of course it's under his jacket, because the panda that lifted up. That's where Barto says, what is that? The panda says, you can just seal it in there. This is what Barto does, and he can seal it out and bring it out, blah, blah, blah. But of course, where the panda boss says, well, you should probably know my name. My name is Panda Panda. Boruto falls down and says, what? This is where the panda says, well. That's where Boruto says, nothing at all. That's where Panda says, good to know. Well, my name is Panda Panda, and yes, you have met Poe. And you could, summon anyone else. They can either be big and helpful into fighting like a Biju or anything. But with that happening, me and Poe will now leave. Good luck in your adventure, kid. That's where Boruto says, okay, bye Panda Panda and Poe. So Boruto's tired. He says, great, I gotta go home. He gets to the Hyuga compound and goes to sleep. Now, of course, the next day happens, and of course, Boruto, he is, not the next day. When he's going back to the, not even Hyuga compound, he's going at the night. It still meets that one fat dude, I forgot his name. But of course, this is where Boruto and Sadara are having to fight against this person. Now, of course, this is where Sadara is saying, God damn it, Boruto, why do you always have to get yourself in trouble? That's where Boruto says, I'm sorry. Boruto's tired. Because he's already tired from fighting against a panda leader, but he's now having to fight against this person. This is where the person says, that's it. You will now lose. And then was about to punch Boruto until Sadara was about to do something. Until Boruto says, Byakugan. A rotation. This is where he activates Byakugan and uses rotation, but uses it as a sword instead of a shield. This is where he hits multiple times, strikes at the fat dude. This is where when the fat dude is kind of hit with multiple strikes, this is where the fat dude is just like knocked out. This is where, Boruto saying, this is tiring as hell. Bullshit. Damn it. But yeah. This is where, with that happening, Boruto is now just at his house, and yeah. Of course, this is where, This is where, Boruto, he went to school, and of course, he has met Shikadai and what's it called, Meski, and going to be the male thing and all that. And of course, Sumari was still kind of hurt by her own kind of distraction and all that. So everything would go the same in original. But of course, with that happening, they also was called, how should I say? So everything was still going original until Mitsuki goes to that one day to kind of, talk to Boruto about Sumari. So yeah. Of course, when that is happening, how should I say? When Boruto is still talked by, Mitsuki about Sumari and all, this is where, Boruto says that's a lie, isn't it? This is where Mitsuki says, no, it's not. And I'm sorry, Boruto, but I will have to. This is where when Mitsuki was about to grab Boruto, this is where Boruto says, no, not this again. This is where, when that is happening, this is where, Mitsuki kind of did grab into Boruto and all, the clone one, and then Mitsuki left. This is where Mitsuki says, I'm sorry, Boruto, but this is where Boruto says, no, you're not. This is where Boruto activates his Byakugan. He says, Byakugan. This is where, he doesn't do it with hand signs multiple times, but yeah. This is where, Mitsuki was shocked to see the Byakugan, and this is where Boruto sees Mitsuki's kind of chakra points. This is where Boruto head bumps Mitsuki in the face. Mitsuki kind of lets go of Boruto, and this is where Boruto hits him into two palms, kind of knocking him out. Well, kind of dispersing him. This is where Boruto is now running towards the car. Mitsuki. Now, this is where when Mitsuki and Sumari were right now clashing. So yeah. This is where Boruto and Boruto comes in, still using the Jogan and actually teleporting Sumare away. But of course, Boruto did have his Byakugan when he came in. Came in to save Sumare and Mitsuki. This is where, Mitsuki says, Boruto, your eyes. This is where Boruto, air palm strike Mitsuki in the stomach, knocking him away and hitting him into a wall. But this is where Boruto says, that's it, Mitsuki, stop this. This is where, Sumare says, what the? Damn it. You have the Byakugan. This is where Boruto's eye, his other eye, went into the Jogan. Still kind of used Supporto and still brought Sumare into it. And yeah, but Noah kind of grabbed her. But yeah, Boruto did jump into the portal and went to go fight against, well, Sumire. As well, Boruto's still going against the giant beast, the Nula and all that. This is where Boruto, he goes into his hand sign and says, summoning stone. This is where, well, a giant panda appeared. Now this panda is actually bigger than, well, not bigger. He's as big as Nul. And of course, this is where the panda says, huh? Did you summon me, kid? Ah, you must be the new summoning contractor. This is interesting. Now, this is where this person's name is Heavy the panda. And this is where Boruto says, huh? I really haven't noticed that many pandas. Didn't know you guys came in this height. This is where Panda says, well, Heavy says, oh, what I do. And I see that you're having trouble fighting this weird looking creature. He's definitely not from the summoning realm. This is where Boruto says, how many summoning creatures are there? A lot, but you got one of the most powerful ones out there. This is where Boruto nodded. This is where, well, Panda decides to say, don't worry, I'll defeat him. This is where Boruto uses someone's dojutsu, his Byakugan, but also turn one of his eyes into a Jogan. And this is where, well, Boruto saw the sort of weak point, and this is where, well, Boruto says, just get that tail away from me. I know where his weak point is at. Heavy says, got it, boss. This is where, well, not boss, got it, kid. This is where, well, Boruto says, throw me over there. This is where, well, the panda throws him at, well, the Nua and all that. And the snake was about to hit him until, well, the panda grabbed the snake tail and pushed it away. And this is where also kind of grabbed his space to push it down, and yeah. This is where Boruto says, this is where he decides to say, air palm strike. He hits what's it called, the weak point, and knocking it out. This is where Noel is now to the ground and all that. But this is where the panda says, did you get the weak point? This is where the snake kind of falls down. This is where Boruto says, smash him to the goddamn wall. This is where the panda says, aye aye, Captain. Yeet! Smash him into the wall, and some of the roof kind of falls onto it. This is where Boruto says, he didn't despawn. Well, not despawn. He didn't poof away. The panda said, huh, interesting. This is where Boruto says, throw me up there. This is where the panda says, got it. This is where he throws Boruto up there, and this is where Boruto says, Sumire. This is where Sumire says, was that a panda over there? Looks so fluffy. No, I shouldn't care. What are you doing here, Boruto? Your eyes are different. This is where, well, Boruto's eyes are the Byakugan. This is where Boruto says, I'm here to stop you. Even if you like it or not. I have to stop you in whatever chaotic thing your dad or whatever bullshit, because I know you weren't a part of this whole thing. Is there some reasons? But I am. Do you think you really could stop me, Boruto? Even with your dojutsu of the Hyuga, you can't stop me. Boruto says, then I have no choice. The panda says, well, I'ma go. He poops away, but yeah. This is where Boruto says, Summary. This is where Summary says, what? What do you want? You think you can stop me? I'm not being stopped. I will destroy the Leaf Village. This is where Boruto, he appears right in front of Summary, and Summary was about to stab him until Boruto grabbed Summary's hand and twisted it. This is where Summary says, ow, 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 ow. This is where, well, Boruto hugs her. This is where Boruto says, you're not alone. Stop this. This is where, well, Summary kind of is flustered a lot, and this is where her shield kind of broke and shattered because she's flattered. Because she was thinking Boruto was gonna just palm strike her, but nah. This is where Boruto says, you have people that love you. You have friends that love you. Don't actually do this. This is where Summary says, Boruto? This is where Boruto says, Besides, you're one of my friends, and I can't let you just go destroy the village like that. Even though I would have probably done it. Not the point. This is where, well, Summary is kind of happy, but this is where the kind of, well, dimensions start breaking. Boruto says, shit. This is where Boruto grabbed her from, what's it called, a Bryosaur, and this is where Noah appears, and of course, this is where, well, Boruto, like, gets on Noah, and this is where Noah kind of goes up and all that. And of course, this is where, well, Noah kind of goes on the thing, and of course, where, well, Rocks hits him, and of course, this is where Boruto says, shit. This is where somebody says, no, Boruto, go back. So Boruto says, no, we're gonna die in this goddamn dimension. This is where Boruto, he jumps out Of course, they're now in the overworld. But of course, as well, Boruto, he still uses Jogan. Well, his Jogan activates to still see the, what's it called, Shadow Chakra and other. And this is what Boruto says on Sumeru when she's being taken away by, what's it called, Sai. But yeah. Of course, that's still happening as symbol, but yeah. But of course, well, when Boruto is now taken, well, Summer is taken alive, that still happened. Now, of course, what happens is the little kind of contest or whatever. Boruto and Mitsuki kind of fights against what's called, well, Shukadai and the Inuichi, and also what's it called, what, Chocho. That's where Boruto, he managed to knock away what's called Chocho and Inuichi by using his Byakugan. But of course, no one can see his eyes because Boruto's covering them up. And this is where, well, Shikadai is actually taken out by, well, Mitsuki, but yeah. Now, of course, the war, well, Samurai still, well, came back and blah, blah, blah. That was still go the same. But this is where I'm going to end it off for part 1 of What If Boruto Was the Reincarnation of Neji Hyuga. Now, yes, Anime Sensei did left. I don't know if he was ever going to come back, but yeah, he left. And of course, well, I'm going to end it off here. If he comes back, I'm going to just say that, kind of end it off, but yeah. Now, of course, I did fucked up in the beginning because, well, I haven't watched Boruto in a good while, so of course, I didn't know anything. So, of course, with that happening, I should have probably watching explaining or something like that, but you know what, I'm just retarded, okay? But yeah, so Anime Sensei isn't here, but go subscribe to him though. Yeah, and yeah, well, that happening. Have a nice potato day, potato night, potato seed, potato. But yeah, bye bye.